Today we'll begin with a new chapter, that is chapter 44, Tantuku's pilgrimage to Srisailam. This chapter describes Sri Narasimha Saraswati taking the weaver Tantuku to Srisail Parvata in a trice on the holy Sivaratri day by his mystical power, and his narration of Sivaratri Mahima and the story of King Vimarsan. Tantuku sees none else but his guru's form, even in the Sivalinga at the Srisailam shrine. A true disciple should visualize his guru alone in all the gods. For him, all the gods get subsumed in the form of his guru. Very good morning. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Wishing you all a very happy Monday. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Absolutely true. When you have a guru who is the Guru Parabrahma himself, you need to see your guru in every god, because please remember, guru is the highest that you can ever worship. When the guru is pleased, all the gods are pleased. When you offer the worship unto the lotus feet of your Gurudev, the entire pantheon of gods and goddesses receive the offering and they bless you too. So it is important to understand the greatness of this Guru. I am talking about the real beings, the divine beings who are the Parabrahman themselves and not the material worldly, the fake gurus in this world. Siddhamuni told Namdarak that he would narrate to him an anecdote of a weaver who was a great devotee of Gurunath. His name was Tantuku. Tantuku used to come to Gurunath daily for his darshan. He used to sweep and clean the precincts of the mutt every day. A little before Sivaratri, people were setting out on a pilgrimage to Srisailam for Lord Mallikarjuna's, that is Jyotirlinga Darshan. Tantuku's parents also decided to go, and they wanted their son also to accompany them. Tantuku knew that Gurunath was Lord Mallikarjuna, and therefore there was no need at all for him or anybody to go all the way to Srisailam for the Lord's darshan. The parents could not prevail upon him to join the pilgrim party, and the son stayed behind while all his relations and parents went. This is the kind of a faith one must have to one's own Gurudev. Tantuku is the highest of his highest devotee of Gurunath. Why do I say this? Because he understood the truth that the Gurunath himself is Mallikarjuna. He doesn't have to go any pilgrimage or worship anybody else. In his Gurudev, he can experience the entire divine beings. Anybody that you wish to see, you can experience that in your Gurudev. But for that, the most important thing for you to have is faith in your Gurudev. Do you have that kind of faith and devotion? That is what is being taught through this example. On the holy Shivratri day, as usual, the weaver took his bath in the Sangam and came to the mutt for darshan of Gurunath. Gurunath asked him why he did not go to Srisailam along with his people. The weaver said that his Srisailam was Gangapur only and Gurunath was his Mallikarjuna. Gurunath was pleased with the weaver's devotion and faith. What is important? It is the devotion and faith. See, when you have such a devotion which is absolute, there is no way anybody can shake your devotion. Let me tell you, this is my experience, which I have personally experienced in my Krishna Guruji, that you can experience any divinity that you want where you are. But for that, your bhakti has to be the highest and your faith in your Gurudev absolute. Nothing can deter or shake that faith in your Gurudev. That is the kind of faith you need to have. And when you have that faith, let me tell you, this is the promise that I am teaching we are doing the exposition from Guru Charitra. I'm telling you this, you can experience any divinity that you want in your Gurudev, and it can happen in any form. And that is why I keep repeating, as is your faith, so are your experiences. What is that you wish to see is what you will get to see. But you must have that absolute faith. There is no two ways about it. It is not 99.99%. It is 100%. And you need to have that Guru Bhakti. Only then can you experience everything at the lotus feet of your Gurudev. Your Gurudev will become that Mallikarjuna. Your Gurudev becomes with that Lord Krishna. Your Gurudev can become anything that you wish to see in him. He can become Buddha for you. He can become Jesus for you. He can become anything. He can become the Devi for all you want to see in him. He is the Parabrahma, the unmanifest, who has manifested in this body. So what is it you wish to see? He can transform himself that for you. The weaver said that his Srisailam was Gangapur only and Gurunath was his Mallikarjuna. So Gurunath was pleased with the weaver's devotion and faith. He asked him to sit near him and to keep his eyes closed. No sooner than Tantuku did this, he found himself at the foot of the Srisailam mountain and with Gurunath only by his side. Wow, how beautiful is that? Gurunath asked him to go and take his bath in the holy Patala Ganga river and thereafter to perform the ritualistic vidhis and visit the temple for Jyotirlinga Darshan. As he walked down to the river, he found his parents and relations there. They were surprised to see him. The parents rebuked him, saying that he could have as well come along with them instead of deciding to come all along later. The weaver told them that he did not come by himself there, but it was Gurunath's will and grace that brought him there. They did not take his reply seriously. After the bath, when he went into the temple, he found Gurunath only in the place of Jyotirlinga. Oh my God, you know how beautiful that is. So what is your faith? Who do you have your faith in? That is the faith that you can experience. And they say, faith can move mountains. You need to have that absolute faith, unflinching faith, exclusive devotion and unconditional love and complete surrender unto the lotus feet of your Guru and Lord Shri Krishna, and let me tell you, magic happens. And you will not be getting entangled in the worldly bondage. You will not be pulled into the snares of Maya. You will be able to see through everything. The truth will shine for you with the grace of the Guru alone. God can be realized only with the grace of the Guru. Why? Because the Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. When the Guru is pleased, the God is pleased, and the Parabrahma, the self, reveals itself to you. But for that, you need to wear yourself out. And that is the most important aspect. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody else. People don't have the understanding. What does ashram mean? What is taking refuge unto the lotus feet of the Guru means? See, the word Guru also in today's day and age is extremely abused because everybody is now talking about spirituality. Again, the word spirituality is also not understood by people because the word spirituality seems like, oh, I'm on the path of spirituality. But what is spirituality? Spirituality doesn't mean yoga, meditation, concoction of your body, or going to some ashram and trying to be there and doing certain ritualistic practices and being part of that conglomerate. That is not ashram means. Ashram means you have to come and put effort. Effort in what? Effort in doing your sadhana, effort in doing your seva, effort in doing your spiritual practices. That is the effort you have to put. Why do you have to put that effort? And where is the ashram? The ashram is wherever you are, wherever your Gurudev is. You come and take refuge at the lotus feet of your Gurudev. You surrender to him your mind, body, senses, ego, everything. And then what do? You become the clay in the hands of your Gurudev. And then what happens? Your guru instructs you, then he guides you, he initiates you if required be. Again, initiation is not for everyone, it is only the guru determines who he wants to initiate. So don't even bother about it. Just follow the instructions of your Gurudev. Do exactly what your Gurudev ordains you to do. And when you do this, then you will understand how to overcome your mind, body, ego, arrogance, senses, your tendencies, your vrittis, your inherent nature. And you will become the best tool in the hands of the Divine Lord, for whose purpose you are born on this planet Earth. I mean, for the to serve the purpose of the Divine Lord, you are born on this planet Earth. And once you understand that, then you will exactly do what your Lord ordains you to do. Then you're not going to doubt your Guru. Then you're not going to question him. See, it is very sad that it takes a lot of effort and lot of time to understand and to to realize why it is important to follow the instructions of your Guru. And if we don't do, then it's very sad. We are the one who's going to lose. It is not the Guru who's going to be losing anything. It is we who are going to be losing out in attaining our own spiritual will. So why should we bother, or why should we even why should we let our mind not listen to the instructions? So this is very sad. We'll only then live in regrets. Why should you live in regrets? Because see, God has given you that grace. You have the opportunity. It is time now. It's better late than never. You can even start right now and listen to him and do something with your life. So the word ashram itself is misconstrued. The Guru, see why it is important, like I explained, why do you need to be with a Guru to learn? See, the Guru, when you're under your Guru, he knows what exactly you need to do. The way is, he's not going to be hand holding you 24/7. He's going to instruct you few things. You do this, you do this, you do this, and then he's going to disappear from there. It is for you to do that shram. Shram means what? Effort. You have to put effort and learn and evolve and practice. And you're going to fail a million times, but doesn't matter. You have to get up and run every single time that you fall. So your Gurudev is also there watching you. He might not be present right in front of you, or you might not even know that he's watching you, but he's very much keeping tabs of what exactly you are doing. So don't be under the impression just because your Guru is not in front of you doesn't mean he doesn't know what exactly you're doing. You might be in Europe, you might be in Singapore, you might be in London, wherever, you might be in America, for all I care, but your Guru is all pervading. So he knows exactly what is going on, whether you're doing your duties, whether you're doing your sadhana, and what exactly are you doing. He's keeping a watch. So don't ever think, oh, my Guru is not there, I can just relax. It doesn't work like that. So you have to be truthful to your sadhana. So the Gurus just let you to do your sadhana, shram, the effort. They want to see how much effort you put in overcoming your tendencies, all the vrittis. You think the Guru is not going to test you? A few days ago, we were just talking about an ashram, and we said, okay, we should have so many rooms. We're just talking to my Guruji. At that time, my Krishna Guruji said, you know what? I was telling, oh, if it is a hot place, we need air conditions, especially for him, because of course he's teaching and his body gets very hot and he cannot even take hot weather. At the time he'll say, oh, forget about it, I will make everybody else's room hot. I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, we'll put them in the pressure. So he was just joking. Actually, that's not joke, that is the truth. What he was saying is that when he's putting you under the training, the spiritual sadhana, the process of purification, it's not going to be easy. And he's going to test you constantly to see how you are evolving. One is to knowledge is given so that you use that knowledge to overcome the ignorance. Like it is said, you cut asunder the ignorance with the sword of knowledge. So knowledge has to be applied. The application of knowledge is extremely important. It is not just listening to a satsang or going and studying about certain, you're not going and studying the scriptures, but it is most important to apply what you have studied, to cogitate. Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasan is important. You have to cogitate, you have to contemplate, and you have to go in silence. You have to internalize what you have learned, and then you have to apply that lesson. I'm not joking. It has taken me 12 years. It's incredible. And now just a little glimpse, I'm understanding what exactly my Guruji did. Just yesterday, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, is in Uddhav Gita Satsang in this, or Saturdays and Sundays when he did the Uddhav Gita Satsang. In that, my Krishna Guruji was explaining how Lord Shri Krishna, plays football with your mind. And that was very powerful. You know what he said? See, Maya is me alone. We'll say the Lord's potency or the Lord's energy. It is Lord's Maya. So what is he saying? I will make you go mad by my Maya. So if you fall for Maya, you're never going to come to me. So at that time, when we give it to our mind, he's going to make the Maya become very strong. So we should never fall prey to that. On the contrary, just have faith in the Guru, because your mind is going to come so strong. It is going to tell you all sorts of nonsensical things. And one more important lesson which he gave is the gunas come into existence because of what kind of thoughts come into our mind. What kind of thoughts do you give birth to? And that is why it is important to be on the path of sattva. You need to have good thoughts. What is good and good thoughts mean? Not just good thoughts, it has to be godly thoughts. See, thoughts do emanate, but it is the choice you have whether you want to dwell in it or not dwell in it. My Krishna Guruji gave a very simple method to overcome this mind play. He said, look, let the mind do its job. The mind has its own mind and its nature too. And the nature of the mind is to keep somewhere the thoughts are coming, and you don't know where that comes from. If the moment you see an object, you get reactions, your mind immediately reacts because of certain memory that it carries. And then what happens? The thoughts come. Oh, this is good, this is bad, this person said this to me, very mean. We have already made judgments about that person, but that happened many years ago or way back in time. Why are you still carrying with it? So you're actually bringing that back again. That the moment that object comes in front of you, all the bad memories come. Then the thought grows bigger and bigger. So it is not someone is bad, it is the mind which you have to overcome in the way you look at an object. See, the object has its nature. Like my Krishna Guruji will give the standard example. He says, if I keep a liquor bottle in front of you, what does it mean? The liquor bottle is an intoxication. So the moment you go and say, okay, one sip I will have, you've fallen prey to that intoxication. But is the liquor bottle enticing you, or who is enticing you? It is your mind. It is your inherent nature. So what is that you need to curb? The curbing of the mind has to be there. That is why we say you need to have your control of your senses. Why is your mind, senses running outwards? You have to draw inwards. It is extremely important. What is the representation of a tortoise in a temple? What does this tortoise represent? Do you know that the nature of a tortoise, the qualities? The moment something comes around the tortoise, it will draw all its limbs inwards. And it's covered with this hard shell out, including its head, legs, hands, everything it will pull inwards. Like that, we have to draw our sense inwards. It's a representation. Please remember, everything in our entire spiritual world, whatever the representations about the gods and goddesses are, it's all to do with this human body, human nature, and how we are programmed in our world. And how should we overcome this lower nature and attain our higher nature, the higher self, which is the godly self. That is what is being taught in all scriptures. So my Krishna Guruji, coming back to the lesson, so my Krishna Guruji was teaching in that, so that the moment the thought comes, so the three kinds of thoughts, the good thoughts are, oh, this person is good, he's so nice. Even if you say that, that is on the goodness, the mode of goodness, that is sattva. Rajasic, okay, he is very, you're trying to judge him, or you're trying to, say, okay, I'm fine, he's an arrogant person. You're trying to make a remark. Then you're in the Rajasic mode. And then when you say all bad things about the person, you're harboring Tamasic guna. So that depends on what kind of thoughts that you have, that the guna comes into existence. And who is the one who's suffering? Now, it is you who's suffering because of your mind. So where is the hell and the heaven? Isn't it in your mind? Is there any hell you have to suffer after you leave this body? You're already suffering that hell and heaven right here and now. So why do we suffer that? Can we not make our life blissfulness? See, in what the spirituality teaches teaches us to attain the blissful state where you're not going to make any judgments. You have to even chuck that sattva, okay, that good, the mode of goodness also you have to chuck it, and then go beyond that to attain that blissful state. In the blissful state, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no pairs of opposite, there is only equanimity of mind. It is about love, it is about goodness, it is about forgiving, and it is non-judgmental. The self is not reacting, the self is just ease, okay, it's in the blissful state. The bliss is not a happy or a sad state. That is why we don't call it happy. To explain blissfulness, it's a just state of being. God is, love is. That is the state it is, in which there is no reactions of pairs of opposite. It's a perfect equanimity. You're centered in your being completely and not getting swayed like a pendulum right and wrong. That is what happens in the blissful state. But to attain that, first you have to attain the mode of goodness. So you have to only think good, and this is exactly what my Krishna Guruji keeps teaching us. The one word that he teaches everybody is be your good self. Now, what does this good self mean? When you are good self means you're only thinking good. You're thinking about love. You're thinking about all the upside. When we see a human being, we are not looking at their negatives. We are only seeing their positive self. And most important, let the other person behave in whichever manner they want to. You cannot lose your goodness. So the spirituality is not about another person, it is about you. It is about changing yourself. First you change before you go and teach the world. This is exactly what my Krishna Guruji teaches. And then it was very powerful to understand how the Gurujis then work. So you know what the Gurus do? Just so that you have to overcome your mind, they are going to feed your mind more than you can ever imagine. The Maya is what is going to be put in front of you, and then he's going to see how you react. And that reaction is what matters to see where you stand in your spiritual development. And then what the Guru does, then he knows you have to still have a long way to go. Then he continues to train you. He wears himself out. And yesterday my Guruji had posted a very beautiful, message. And in that he was telling who is this Guru? A Guru is a one who wears himself. Not only that, he even gives he gives his life to change the disciple, to become the divine being. This is the nature of a real Guru. No other Guru in this world will ever do this. And that is why I said such a masters are very rare. Only, on fingertips you can find handful of them, not even handful of them. Even if you have one or two today in this world, it's a big deal. There is no other person in this world who ever cares for you. Why would somebody give up their life to change you? You tell me. Today my Krishna Guruji, 12 years, is wearing himself out, not just for me, but so many other people in their own way. Whatever everybody is experiencing, their own journey, every disciple goes through. And my Guruji has never been partial to anybody. Please remember, and he gives the same level of knowledge. But see, he knows what is right for you. That is the fish he will curry, the dish he will make and feed for you. So you cannot demand what you want. The Guru knows what to give you. What is right for you, that he will give you. And he doesn't hold any knowledge from anybody. You think a Guru is a mean person? Of course not. But you need to become capable enough to earn, for him to give you that knowledge. So, and most important, that spiritual deservability has to come in, has to be there, and which only he can do the assessment, not anybody else. And above all, what is important, that the foundation on which this knowledge has to be established has to be firm. So if your foundation is weak, then the temple will fall and crack. So there's no point in building a temple on a weak foundation. So the foundation has to be extremely strong. So the Guru puts you through the rigorous practice of spiritual journey. And during that rigorous process, what happens is, there are people who can stand it. There are people who cannot stand that. And they can only take it so much. Beyond a point, they give it to their mind, and then they'll go away. They will leave it half right there, and they'll just walk out of it. And this has happened. And beyond that, then what happens? My Guruji will say, okay, see you in next life, whenever that has to be. So you have to continue the journey from where you have stopped. So why not use this life to learn? Like Lord Shri Krishna says, what seems to be pain in the beginning is nectarine at the end. So it's okay, go through this painful process. It's fine, it's very beautiful, it's sweet. When you learn the truth, when you experience these lessons, then you'll understand this whole universe, everything that you're going through is nothing but a play. A play, it's a leela. It's so beautiful to play with your divine Lord. How sweet is that? How many get this opportunity? So enjoy that opportunity, and please remember, when there is the grace of the Guru, the hand of benediction of your Gurudev on your head, nothing shall befall you. You just have to walk that entire journey with that faith alone. This entire lesson is all about having that absolute faith in your Gurudev. So it is extremely important. And then you understand that whatever thoughts you harbor, it has to be only good thoughts. Don't bring tamas and rajas, because the moment you bring in the tamasic and rajasic thoughts, then you are going to be operating in that guna. Then there is no way you can become sattvic in nature, and then you have to go beyond that sattvic in nature too. So for you to evolve beyond that, you have to strive extremely hard. And this is how the gurus work. I just gave you a little glimpse about how the great masters work. And please remember, you cannot even find out how they work. It's taken me many years to understand, and I'm like, okay, the first 5 years, this is exactly what you were doing to me. And yesterday I was asking my Krishna Guruji, after listening to his satsang, I said, is this what you did? And then he answered, yes, I am the Maya myself. What do you think you're seeing? You're seeing Maya. To understand, not even understand, to experience the divinity, you have to go beyond the mode of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. You have to transcend the gunas, transcend the mind, body, senses, ego, transcend Maya, go beyond the delusions, and then you attain that self. That is where the self-realization exists, and in that self is where you will experience that blissful state, which is not momentary. That state is eternity. You will be living in that state 24/7. That is what you have to aspire to attain. And you know what? And in that state, you will do every task to your highest of your ability. You are not going to say, I'm tired, I don't like this. No, you're always on the high energy. Have you ever seen my Krishna Guruji give satsang, or have you experienced him around? Oh my God, he's up on his toes. He's doing so many things. He's super fast. To even match his speed is not a joke. It's so difficult. He's not going to say, oh, I can't do this, I have this pain. Every single morning when I come from my walk or exercise, I'll tell about today my leg hurt. He's like, I just hope I wouldn't be listening to your complaints of this is paining, that is paining. But see, that's human nature, but that's what we have to overcome. To date, my Guruji will never say this is paining for me. Only in extreme conditions, if he needs some help or if he needs some medicine, that is when he will open his mouth. Otherwise, no matter what he goes through, he will not even open his mouth and say. That is called that forbearance, the fortitude one must have. All these divine qualities, that potencies, the power of we say you're the power of the potentials, all the energies, all the attributes of the divine self is within you. And when you realize that, do you think anything is impossible by you? Not at all. You can achieve anything that you wish to, and you will be able to do everything in a clockwork precision. But first you have to get trained to become that. It is not so easy, but you have to practice consistently, constantly. You have to keep taking the name of the divine Lord Almighty and talk and keep doing it. So when I say talk, you have to stop the mind talk and then keep doing it. It's not about just talking, it's about actions. It's about doership. And Bhagavad Gita is all about what? It's about Lord Shri Krishna telling Arjuna, please lift the bow and arrow and shoot. It's about doership. Why are you letting your mind come in the way? Why don't you just follow my instruction? That is what Lord Shri Krishna is teaching, and he's teaching to perform nishkama karma, selfless action. And when you perform selfless action, you will be able to just sleepwalk this whole existence, and you will become the best tool in the hands of the divine Lord. Like that verse in 12th chapter, which he says, you do all the duties for my sake alone. And then what he does? Depending upon me, being completely devoted and serving, doing the duties in detachment. And you will come to me alone. and then having no malice towards any beings. This is exactly what it means to be your good self. So don't bother about what is going to happen. If the Lord wants to give you something, He will give you. If He doesn't want, He will not give you. If there is something that He needs to address, He will take care of it. Yesterday there were some things that had to happen. I was quite nervous. I was not nervous initially, but when my Guruji put that Maya in front of me, yes, too many thoughts came. What happens if this doesn't go through? What happens like this? Something, oh my God, it was horrible. And then I understand, oh my God, it's in the mind. And finally some eureka moment happened. I'm like, why am I doing all this? What the divine Lord wills, it is His problem. Why should I be bothered? Why is my mind doing a gymnastic right now? And that when that moment happened, let me tell you, it's like, it's like you're breaking free. You're flying out of the cage. That's the feeling. I mean, I cannot adequately describe with words how what it means to overcome Maya, or go beyond Maya. It's just an experience, like, oh my God, wow, this is what it is. And why am I going, doing all the gymnastic within my mind? You will be then at peace. And when you surrender at that moment, let the Lord do what He wants. I'm just a tool. I've surrendered to Him. It is His will. What has to be will be. Why am I bothered? And when this faith comes in you, I'm telling you, magic happens. And you will be able to evolve very smoothly on the path of spirituality. And yesterday, I didn't even question. I'm like, when I started my day, I said, what has to be? My Guruji is there. My Lord is there with me. Why fear when I'm here? The most important thing to have is become fearlessness. You need to become absolutely fearless. What is there to fear? Fear comes when you think that something bad is going to happen, something you don't know whether something is going to happen or not. You're bothered about the end results. You don't even worry about the end results. Why should you worry? Whatever the end result has to be, it is in His hand. He knows what is right, what has to be given. So don't even be attached to the fruits of action. That is the most important lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Your job is to do alone, and don't even take the sense of doership or, I am the doer, I did it. Never say that also. And don't be bothered what is the outcome of going to be. Have you done your job? Have you done Krishna Arpan and move on? Move to the next one. And what has to be the outcome, it will happen accordingly. And when certain things worked in certain manner yesterday, I was shocked. I literally thanked profusely to my Guruji. It was amazing. But the most important thing I learned through experience is you don't have to doubt. You just have to surrender. Like Lord Shri Krishna says, depending upon me for everything. Do your duty devotedly for my sake in detachment. That is very important. So I'm sorry to give you a long lecture here. It is not about lecture. The aspect of faith is extremely important, and those who have the privilege of your Gurudev, please have this faith. It will do a lot good to you, and you will go faster on your spiritual journey. So let us see what happens now. So Gurunath was seated there in the place of Linga and was accepting all the offerings being made by devotees and was receiving the unending abhishekas. The weaver's ecstasy knew no bounds, for having had the darshan of his Gurunath on the holy Sivaratri day in the sacred Jyotirlinga shrine of Srisailam, which is the Lord's eternal abode. The weaver then fell at the feet of the Gurunath and pleaded with him to enlighten him on Srisail Mahima. Gurunath told him that Srisail Parvata Mahima have been described in the Skanda Purana and which he would recount to him. So let us see what is the greatness about Srisailam. In Kirat Desa, there lived a king named Vimarsan. He was very valiant person. He made many conquests and was always victorious. But he was a very sensuous person. He lacked moral rectitude. But even so, he had one saving virtue, that was his devotion to Lord Shiva. Every month, on the Shivratri day, he used to do the Jagarna, that is, keeping awake the whole night worshipping Shiva. On other days, he used to mostly enjoy himself with women, music and dance. His wife, Kumudavati, was a very pious lady. She was always worried about her husband's licentious nature. She always tried to persuade him that he should change his mode of life. She used to tell him that while he professed his devotion to Shiva, his behavior and conduct were most unbecoming of a devotee. She told him that she was at a loss to understand how, with such a sensuous and indulgent nature, he ever came to cherish devotion to Shiva at all. Thereupon, the king started narrating the account of his previous life. In his previous birth, he was a dog wandering in the streets of the city of Pampa. On one Shivratri day, curious to know what was happening inside the temple where thousands of people were going in, he also went in. He was also hoping that he would be able to get something to eat there and allay his hunger. As soon as he entered inside the precincts, the people there took hold of a stick to drive him out. The dog started running, but inside the temple compound itself. While being chased, it ran round the main temple of the shrine 3 times. That is in circumambulation. While running, it could get the glimpse of the holy shrine inside where Shivratri Puja was being performed. But it got a good beating. Not being able to get anything to eat, it had to go without food that night. Because of the severe beating it received and added to it due to hunger, the dog died. But the merit which it got through the darshan of the puja, the pradikshanas, and the fast it underwent, although unknowingly and with the least intention, resulted in it being born as a king in the next life. Oh my God. This is so very profound. What is that we are learning here? What is being taught to us? Imagine, even unknowingly, by mistakenly, you have a little devotion towards the divine. You get redeemed. Your life is redeemed. And imagine how much of merit will you be able to earn if you, knowing the truth, are devoted and serving the divine Lord Almighty. Isn't that so powerful? We are talking about bhakti, how devotion to God, being on the path of godliness is so important. Just not knowingly, he was a dog. Imagine he underwent a fast not knowingly because he didn't get any food, not because he wanted to fast. And the dog went into the temple wanting some food, not because he wanted to worship Lord Shiva. And just because he was chased, he ran, in the circumambulating the shrine 3 times and also was able to see the prayers which was being performed to Lord Shiva. And that earned him such great merit. And in his next life as a king, he was very devoted to Lord Shiva. Isn't that a great boon? He has also not just that, from being a dog, he was able to get a human body. But he had a dog's nature. That is exactly what his wife was she couldn't understand how he had a dog's nature. And then he's being devotee of Lord Shiva and doing this fasting, and he's doing this jagarna. Jagarna means you don't sleep the whole night. On Shivratri night, you don't sleep, and what you do is you're devoted to the divine Lord, and you sing prayers, bhajans. Different people do different things, but you're lost in chanting his name while he's doing all that. But he has a nature which doesn't seem okay. It's like contradicting. He had a contradicting nature. But what was contradicting about it is that being devoted, yet he was doing all these things. How does it work? But then now the king explains why that devotion is there and how it has come into existence. But what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, even if you remember God for once, and you get redeemed. God is very benevolent. He's compassionate. He's kind. He's loving. He's caring. He's forgiving. All he's doing is he wants you on his side. He's waiting for you with his arms open. It is you who has to go and take. He's just ever waiting to redeem you because you're all his children. This entire universe is his creation. They're all his children. He cares for you all. He's saying, please don't turn towards Maya. Come to me. Come to me. he's waiting with his arms wide open, waiting someday they will turn to me. That's his faith. And he doesn't give up on his children. That is who God is. You know how profound it is? And it's so beautiful. So I hope this lesson tells you that even if you have little bit of devotion, whatever that might be, you attain him. Many a time my Krishna Guruji will say, you know what, it doesn't matter what people do, but they're devoted to me. That is what matters. At the end of the day, I am not looking at what they are doing. See, that doesn't still mean that, that doesn't give you the right to go and commit all sorts of sins. Please remember, that's not what I'm saying here. The moral of the story is, even if they fall, the God is always there to lift them up. You know why? Because now at least they've turned towards me. He gives them one chance to redeem themselves. That's exactly what it means. We learned this very powerful lesson in Sai Baba's Charitra. In that, Baba says, my grace is more on the unrighteous people. You know why? Because it gives them a chance for upliftment. So he's saying, why shouldn't I? See, the good people, yeah, the righteous people are already on the side of God. So it is more the unrighteous people, those who have fallen down way too much. On them, the grace is more, so that they can get redeemed. So you know what, God, in the world of God, this is something I'm learning of late. More and more my Guruji is teaching me, and in that he says some things very interestingly. And what I come to know is that this universe is a perfect balance. At some point, everybody gets a chance to redeem themselves. So God is kind to his children. He's not selfish like we human beings think. We think something bad should happen to some person because they did so many bad things. On the contrary, my Guruji, my God thinks very differently. He says, no matter how bad they are, I will still open my arms and welcome them. I'm giving them one more chance so that they can turn towards God. I want to redeem them. That is the greatness of being God. He forgives. That is why we say forgiving is godliness. So to being God is not such an easy thing. It is very beautiful. But once you attain that divine state, then you will understand what the teachings are all about. It is not the way how our petty mind drives us to become. So don't fall prey to your petty mind. Your petty mind is a crass one which is full of self-conceit and deceit. See, yesterday my Krishna Guruji again was giving a very powerful lesson. In that he was talking about, see, in the world there are evil and good divine beings. So when there is evil, some people have this dog nature of a dog. In the corporate world, if you take in the entertainment world, there is casting cows. There's different things. There's a lot of adharma happening. But what he says is, when you know that something is wrong, you accompanying or being a part of that wrong action doesn't make you innocent. You are actually opening up abysses of karma and falling into that abysses you're falling into the abysses yourself, with eyes wide open. Why do you entertain? Why do you go? When you know somebody's nature is like that, you don't have to go there. You don't have to, even go look at that person. Like Narad Muni had, in a very nice story, was telling the snake, he told the snake, please don't bite the people. Why are you causing harm to anybody? You have been given a nature. The nature is just hiss and keep people away. You don't have to go bite them. Okay, I didn't complete the full story. Let me tell you what the full story is about. Initially, the snake was, there was a snake, and one day Narad Muni comes across the snake. The snake had become a nuisance to all the villagers because it kept biting everybody, the people who came on its way. And then Narad Muni says, why are you causing harm to people? Then Narad Muni gives him the snake a mantra and says, you just be lost in yourself. And he's teaching a snake. It's so cute. Imagine, can you visualize imagining a snake sitting there and chanting? That's so funny. But it's a way to teach us. And that time the snake is very quiet, and everybody sees the snake being not hissing or trying to bite. You know what people do? They start taking the stones and pelting at it so much that it's almost laying dead. And then one day Narad Muni is walking past and he's seeing the snake is almost breathless and is going to die. And then Narad Muni, asks the snake, what has happened? And the snake says, you only told me not to bite anyone. So I've been sitting here and meditating or chanting the name of the Lord. So everybody came and, caused harm to me, and they've gotten me to this condition. Then Narad Muni gives a very nice lesson. He tells the snake, what is your nature? Your nature is to hiss. It doesn't mean you have to bite. You just have to hiss. You have to make sure that they don't cause you harm. Likewise, in our world, when we see certain people who are bad, we don't have to go and, do something. And our nature, see, their nature is to bite. They are not going to become the snake and not bite you. Okay, they are going to bite you. Their nature is to bite you. But for you, it is to stay away. I'm giving a story in a reverse order. Like example, there's a Scorpio and there's a scorpion which has fallen in a tank. So one day a saint goes and, saves it. The moment he picks the scorpion, it stings him. So what is the nature of a scorpion? To sting. But it is the saint's nature to save the scorpion, even if it is a scorpion. But most important is you have to stay away from the evil beings. That is the lesson which my Krishna Guruji was teaching from Uddhav Gita. So these kind of creation also exist. Doesn't mean you go fall prey to that. Doesn't mean you go with that and then blame the world. That is what the moral of the story is, that. So you have to stay away from evil people, evil propensities. When you know something is bad, why are you going? Again, the example of liquor bottle is going to be kept in front of you. Doesn't mean you take and drink. That is not your job. If you want to stay away, if you want to be on the path of goodness, why are you going in that direction? So don't go. This is what it is. It is not about the other person. It is about you. You have to change, not blame the world. That is the lesson what we have been taught. So coming back, it is important that we understand what is our own will. So to summarize the whole lesson here, it is that God gives everybody a chance to uplift themselves. So in the world of God, there is a perfect balance. His universe is amazing. His judgment, like we say, he is the karma phala data, the dispenser of the fruits of action. He is the one who gives you he is the one who, gives the fruits of your action. He knows what is right and what is wrong. So at the end of the day, you have to please him. That is why we say, live a God-pleasing life, not a man-pleasing life. When you live a God-pleasing life, what comes with the grace of the divine Lord Almighty. Whether it could be a garment, whether it could be just even this materialistic thing, whatever, even this, if you're buying even this pearl necklace, it comes with his grace alone. If it has to come, then only it will come, not otherwise. So everything becomes sinless. There is no karma accruing to it. So you only do nishkama karma. And please remember, this universe is a beautiful balance. Everybody gets a chance to redeem themselves. Some life or the other, everybody is given a chance to walk the path of spiritual. So it is for you to choose that path and become godly being. So let us see what happens. Not being able to get anything to eat, it had to go without food that night. Because of the severe beating it received, and added to it, due to hunger, the dog died. But the merit which it got through the darshan of the puja, the pradikshanas and the fast it underwent, although unknowingly and with the least intention, resulted in it being born as a king in the next life. Like I said, everything is a balance. And there was some merit it received because of what happened, even though it was unknowingly. Please remember. And that is why my Krishna Guruji say, never commit anything knowingly or unknowingly. Because even if you're committing something unknowingly, that also gets accounted for. But unknowingly you do good, then that accrues good merit. At least you can evolve in your life. So don't, even knowingly and unknowingly, don't try to cause harm to anybody. Don't harbor bad thoughts. Nothing should be. Your mind has to only be filled with the name of Lord Shri Krishna, your Gurudev. That's why we say Hari Bol. But he was not able to shed the habits, that is the samskaras. This is what we say, tendencies. Every birth, we carry the tendencies from our previous births. That is why overcoming the tendency is very difficult. That characterized his previous life as a dog. If he, as a dog, had done the pradikshana and fast with a little understanding at least, he would have been able to shed the dog vasana completely and would not have had the wayward and sensuous mind in this life. The queen asked the king if he could tell her what her previous birth was and let her know about it. The king told her that she was a pigeon in her previous birth. One day she saw a large piece of meat lying on the ground. She picked it up in her beak. While she was flying in the sky with it, a kite saw it and started chasing her. The pigeon started flying with all its strength, and in the process of being chased and in its flight for escape from the kite, it happened to fly around the Srisail Parvata 3 times. So beautiful. In the end, however, the kite caught hold of it and killed it and then ate it up. But because of the 3 pradikshanas, that is circumambulation, which she happened to do, though unintentionally, the pigeon earned great merit and was born as a queen in this life. The queen was very keen to know if the king could tell her how her future birth would be. The king told her about that also. He said that both of them, after a few more births as king and queen, would be attaining salvation and would become free from the cycle of birth and death forever. Gurunath told the weaver about the Sivaratri Mahima, thus at the holy Srisailam itself. Isn't that so profound? The king had the grace of knowing even his future, what his future going to be. But having this knowledge itself is a great thing. See, it is not about what he did, it is about how you're going to conduct yourself. There has been a lot of merit, and that is why he was able to have the devotion of Lord Shiva, and that merit happened unknowingly, not knowingly. Isn't that a great grace? Imagine today we don't understand the greatness of what we have. Why? Because we think, oh, okay, having a guru is fine. We are learning. What is our life? Oh, we are just living the same thing. We don't realize that. But much later in your life, you will get this understanding as to how blessed your life has been. And this is what we fail to realize. Yesterday also my Krishna Guruji was giving a very profound lesson, and he said, the way you look at life is very different. When you come to the court of heavens, and that time I will ask you questions. What did you do? How much did you do good in this world? And those are the kind of it where your desirous being. And at that time, when the book of accounts gets opened, then you will not have any face to face me. So it is important right now to live a God-pleasing life. We all think from our narrow point of view, because we don't have the understanding of our past, the present and the future. Only the divine Lord Almighty, the gurus know everything. They are all knowing. So for us, what we see is, we cannot even see beyond our nose. Whatever we understand is so minuscule. It is very petty. That's all, just like a dot. And with that, we want to tell, oh, what is my life? I haven't got anything. You haven't given me anything. You are giving everybody else. You haven't done this to me. You haven't done that to me. We're always constantly fighting. We believe the guru is favoring somebody else. The guru has not favored me. The guru has not done for me. This is how we all think. Oh, you are giving somebody else the spiritual wheel. You are not giving me. You are not doing this. We accuse the guru endlessly. But this is what we shouldn't. Because why? From all of this story and everything else, it is about your faith in your Gurudev. When you have that faith, please know that what has to come to you will anyways come to you. He's taking care of you. He's suffering for all the karma that you knowingly and unknowingly perform too. And that is when I get really angry and upset, because when somebody is performing some karma, when my Guruji has told don't do that, and they are going and committing the same mistake, he is going to suffer for it, because they have already committed too many mistakes which they don't know unknowingly. It's not that they have done it sometimes knowingly. Forget about knowingly at all. They have gone and done unknowingly, using their mind. When you're told don't do this, please stay away. What does my Guruji say? Sometimes I will have to even give up my life to change you. Why should we let that great being die, that body to die? Why can't we change? Why can't we suffer for the sins of the others? We want everything easy. We want our life to be smooth. We want our parents to live a healthy life. But what are we doing for that? Have you ever asked this question? No, we don't. We only come to ask from him. In one of the beautiful last Tuesdays, you must go listen to his Bhagavad Gita satsang last Tuesday. And in that, my Guruji said very profound truth. And in that, what he explains? He says, people only turn to God when they have nowhere else to go to. They'll tell my Guruji, where you live is very far. I can't come so far. And then what happens? Only you are going to turn to him because now you are in trouble. That is how it is. People come to God only when they have no other resort. They know they have nothing to fall back on, and then they come begging to God. Why? Because they cannot take that suffering. They might become sick. They might become whatever. They might have lost the wealth, everything. When they have nothing to enjoy and some suffering comes their way, they are unable to bear that suffering, and that is the time they'll all turn to God. This is human nature. Can you otherwise seek the grace of God? Can you praise him? Can you love him? Can you come and meet him? How many people want to today be with the great master, the real master? Many want to be. There are a lot of people who are very sincere about it, but today they don't have that opportunity. But when somebody has the opportunity, they don't want to even leverage that. They will tell, oh, I have to take care of my parents, I'm responsible, my duty towards my parents. These are the kind. This is exactly what my Guruji was telling. And then it's very sad. What happens? His time is only so much limited, and then he's gone. Then who are you going to go turn to? The photo of his, you couldn't use that moment when he physically was present. And then once he's dead, he's not going to die. He's an eternal being. I mean, he will leave the body and go away. Then what happens? Then we all want to then run after him. This is the world. This is how mean human natures are. Our nature is so bad. The same story has been narrated in all scriptures, whether it is in Buddhism, Christianity, you name it. Every religion talks the same thing. What did Jesus do? What is going on cross mean? Crucifixion means he's suffering for the sins of others. Can you do that? And despite telling you don't do that, he will go and commit that mistake and then make the God suffer. Why should the God suffer for your petty desires? Have you ever questioned this? Just because you want to satiate your lusty greed, all that stupid desires in your life, you want the God to go on the cross? Is that who you are? You are some great being, is it? But that is the greatness of the Guru and the God, who show how great they are. Can you ever become a divine being? No, you will still remain a crass human being. But what do the Gurus and God do? They give everybody an opportunity to uplift themselves. This is the truth we fail to understand. We think the gods are only there, the Gurus are only there to sanction boons, bucket list. Yesterday my Guruji was talking, and in that he says, you wait, the moment people they keep getting something, the list also becomes like a bottomless pit, and the line will keep going on from from heaven to I don't know how far. Why? Because everybody wants. The greed is insatiable. Their desires are, you can't stop the desires. It's like an insatiable thing. It goes on and on. It's, if you get someone, then you want the next. If you have 100,000, then you want 500,000, then you want 1 million. I don't know. The number goes endlessly. It keeps growing. Exponentially it grows. So what happens? Is that what you want? And then you are going into so many more karmas, and then you will die one day, a miserable death. And then you will become one Kida Makoda, at least in this case, because of unknowingly the dog became a king. And you will become the worm in that muck. That is what you will become. Like my Krishna Guruji says, so the karma, the karma that you can get into, and you can, which can come to you is something you cannot even fathom. You do not understand what you commit. And that is why my Guruji also says we have to be compassionate with the beings, because they are ignorant. There is no point in, sometimes me getting angry. I realize that I'm an off late. The realization is quite strong. There is no point in getting angry with anybody, because they are like this dog. They're now not, it's like a dog's tail. They're never going to change. But at least those who are with the Gurus, please, you need to change. It is for me and for those who have a Guru in your life and you're learning under him. It is for you, this knowledge applies the most, not to the material worldly beings. And which is what my Krishna Guruji says. This knowledge is not for everybody. You are only chosen few, and those chosen few have to live this lesson. And like my Guruji says, I just need that one who can do exactly what I want to do and redeem themselves, so that I will be, satisfied that I have performed my duty. This is what the Lord Almighty says. And he doesn't give up. He keeps coming back again and again and again with that faith that someday he will be able to redeem me, at least that one. That is his faith. So let us be very good disciple and devotees to our Gurudev and God Almighty, and let us seek his grace that we obey his ordering and we don't commit karma and cause him any misery or sufferings to the Gurudev. On the contrary, let us love him so much that we extend his life on this planet Earth, so that there can be lot good that happens in our world and for the world and this entire universe and his creation. Please remember, when the divine being is alive, there is a lot good that happens in this universe. When you and me are alive, what good does it happen? We are only bothered about ourselves. So that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't mean to say that, but yes, we have to do our duty and become the best version of who we are. Let us attain our spiritual being. So with that, Gurunath told the weaver about the Sivaratri Mahima. Thus, at the holy Srisailam itself, Gurunath asked the weaver to touch his padukas and then close his eyes. No sooner than the weaver did this, he was back in the mutt at Gangapur, seated in the presence of Gurunath. Thus ends the 44th chapter of Sri Guru Charitra describing Srisailam Mahima. Glory to the all-merciful, the omnipresent and the ever-responsive Gurunath. Thank you for joining Sri Guru Charitra Satsang. Wishing you all a very happy Monday and a great week ahead. Tomorrow we will start the Satsang at 9:15. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shri Pad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanatha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Today, we'll begin with a new chapter, that is chapter 45, Gurunath Cures Brahmin's Leprosy. This chapter refers to the anecdote of a Brahmin called Nandi, who was suffering from leprosy and who went to Tuljapur and other holy places and did great austerities. Goddess Parameshwari directed him in his dream to visit Gangapur and seek the blessings of Sri Narasimha Saraswati for the cure of his disease. He thereafter becomes a close disciple of Gurunath.